Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and in today's video we are going to have a look at the climb thrust derates in different aircraft. Now we're going to do this on the example of the Boeing 737, but rest assured that many other aircraft have these available as well. For example, the Airbus A330 or the Boeing 777. Alright, so let's get right into it. Now basically, why do we have climb thrust derates? Now, the main reason here is because they allow for lower temperatures in the engine, which in turn means extended engine life. Now, things can be a little bit different in terms of procedures for different airlines, so let's go ahead and have a look at a couple examples. Now, starting with the Boeing 737, my former operator made it a policy that we are going to use the climb derate that the FMS would automatically compute until we are cleared to climb above an altitude of 15,000 feet, and then we would delete them. The background of that SOP was that this operator basically didn't fly the aircraft for too long, so they wouldn't fly them until the end of their service life, so the saved engine wear and tear from running the engines at lower temperatures wouldn't really make that much of a difference. Now, in turn, however, it does make a significant difference when you run the engine at a lower thrust, because you don't climb as fast and therefore you are going to spend more time at lower altitudes, therefore spending more fuel in order to climb up to the cruise level, rather than if you just went full thrust, and that saves a little bit of fuel because you're climbing into the less denser airspace quicker. Now, let's go ahead and have a look at the difference that deleting the climb derate makes to the exhaust gas temperature. Now, you can usually delete them on something like the N1 limit page, or if you're flying an Airbus, you can do it on the climb performance page. You can see down here that we have climb 1 currently selected. Now, have a look at the temperatures here. We're running our engines at about 720 degrees right now. If we go ahead and delete the climb derate, then our engine runs up to the full climb thrust, and as you can see, that was approximately 20 degrees centigrade that the engines got warmer, and that already makes a huge difference for the service life of the engine. Now, if we make that even more obvious, then right now we're running at approximately 750 degrees. If we go down to climb 2 derate, let's give the airplane a moment to run down here. Well, about 10 degrees of a difference here right now. So you can see there certainly is some differences in the temperatures. Now, other operators, depending on the configuration of the aircraft and the actual aircraft and the type of operation that you're doing, are obviously going to imply different procedures. So here are another 2 examples from my experience. Now, first of all, let's talk about the Boeing 777. Now, the 777 got huge engines fitted to it, and the 777 is basically a climb monster, because you got to imagine that those engines are capable of climbing the aircraft up to flight level 200 and above, even if you're flying on a single engine, so if you have an engine failure. So, in other words, when a single engine is capable of doing that, and you're flying with both engines operating, well, you are going to have a huge climb power available. Now, because of this much power available, in the 777 you basically leave the engines in the climb derate until it automatically washes out. There are different company options available for when the climb derate is automatically taken out in the Boeing 777, and you can either have something in the lower altitudes, about 13,000, or in the higher altitudes, or about flight level 300. Now, different operators are going to choose that based on their own demands. In the 737, the climb derate automatically washes out when passing 15,000 feet, and we're about to see that right over here. As we're going to pass 15,000, watch the derate appear. You can see it's automatically changed to climb, so now we're operating at full thrust anyway. Now, let's have a look into another example, which is driven by pretty much the exact opposite theory to what we just talked about in the 737, and that is the Airbus A330. Now, many flight simmers don't seem to know it, but the A330 is actually capable of derating the engine, so it does have fixed derate compared to the A320 that doesn't have stuff like that. And in the A330, we basically apply a fixed derate based on our takeoff weight. If we are above 200 tons, we are using derated takeoff 2, and if we are below, or the other way around, we are using derated takeoff 1, and if we're below 200 tons, then we use derated takeoff 2. And in my airline at the moment, we try to use the derate for as long as it is technically possible, because of the cost involved with the engines. Now, not all engines are brand new. Even if an aircraft is new, it might have old engines fitted, and depending on the maintenance contract and how things are done in the airline, it might just be cheaper to waste the fuel for flying at lower altitude for a longer time and instead just save the engine by keeping it running at lower temperatures. Now, the result is that usually the time to climb to cruising altitude in the A330 in the operations that my new airline does is somewhere in the region of about half an hour to even 35 minutes. So if someone wants to say again that the A340 only climbs due to the Earth's curvature, try to fly a derated A330. That doesn't get any better, I promise. Now, nonetheless though, the difference in the engine temperature in the A330, whether you fly in a derate 2 or in full climb thrust, can be up to 50 degrees centigrade, so that really makes a lot of a difference. The resultant climb rates are rather low though. Often you just fall below 1000 feet a minute pretty early in the climb, just above 10,000 or something after you accelerate it, and then the rest is just taking a long time to get up there. Now, these are just some examples of different philosophies in regards to using climb derate. I do hope that you found this one interesting. If you're a real-world pilot and your airline is also using climb derate, be sure to let me know in the comments below, as I'm really interested in hearing what kind of other different philosophies there are available. Finally, I would like to thank you very much for flying with us today. Hope that you found this one interesting. Be sure to let me know in the comments below. I'm very much looking forward to your feedback, and be sure to let me know about topics that might interest you for future videos as well. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one. In the meantime, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as it really does help out the channel. And if you're up for more, I'm really looking forward to see you on the next video. Finally, if you really like what I'm doing, would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.